The discovery. The holographic display flickered in the dimly lit war room as Commander Maya Harrison studied the latest battle reports. Earth's orbital defense network, once humanity's pride, now lay in ruins. The Kraxan Empire's relentless assault had pushed human forces to the brink of extinction in just 6 months. Maya ran her fingers through her short black hair, exhaustion evident in her dark eyes. The reports showed what she already knew. Conventional weapons were useless against Kraxan shield technology. Humanity needed a miracle, and they needed it fast. Commander Harrison, a young lieutenant, burst into the room, clutching a datapad. The Deep Space Expedition Team. They found something. The discovery came from the edges of the Oort cloud. Ancient ruins of a civilization far more advanced than humanity's current level. But it wasn't the ruins themselves that caught Maya's attention. It was the technical specifications they contained, describing a warship unlike anything humanity had ever conceived. The military leadership dismissed it as fantasy. The energy requirements alone were impossible by current standards. The theoretical physics behind its weapons systems contradicted everything they knew about reality. They called it a myth, a desperate hope born from desperation. But Maya saw something different in those ancient specifications. She saw possibility. They said it couldn't be done, she muttered, studying the intricate designs. They said the same thing about faster-than-light travel 50 years ago. The specifications described something called the Phoenix Protocol, a revolutionary approach to space combat that seemed to defy the laws of physics. The ship wouldn't just fight, it would adapt, learn, and evolve during battle. It was precisely what they needed against the Kraxan's superior technology. Maya spent weeks analyzing the data, working with a small team of unconventional scientists who shared her vision. Dr. Yumi Tanaka, a quantum physicist whose theories had been dismissed as too radical by her peers. Dr. James Chen, an AI specialist who claimed machines could develop consciousness. Together, they began to understand the true genius behind the ancient designs. It's not just a ship, Dr. Tanaka explained during one of their late-night sessions. It's a bridge between consciousness and technology. The ancients found a way to merge quantum mechanics with human intuition. The Kraxan continued their advance through the solar system, methodically destroying human outposts. Mars fell. The Jupiter colonies went dark. Time was running out. Maya took her findings to Admiral Chen, the last person she thought might listen. The old veteran had seen enough impossible things in his career to keep an open mind. "You understand what you're proposing?" he asked, studying the holographic models. "If you're wrong, you'll waste resources we can't afford to lose. If you're right..." He paused, considering the implications. "If you're right, you'll be asking crew members to link their minds with experimental technology we barely understand." "With respect, Admiral," Maya replied, "we're out of options. The Kraxan will reach Earth in 6 months. When they do, they won't just defeat us, they'll erase us." The Admiral was silent for a long moment, watching the tactical display showing the steady advance of Kraxan forces. Finally, he nodded. "You have 3 months, Commander Harrison. After that, we'll need every resource for Earth's final defense." Maya assembled her team carefully. Besides Dr. Tanaka and Dr. Chen, she recruited engineers who thought outside the box, pilots who pushed the boundaries of what was possible, and technicians who could improvise with limited resources. They converted an abandoned mining facility in the asteroid belt into a secret shipyard. The project, officially designated Phoenix Rising, began to take shape. As the first hull plates were fabricated using the ancient specifications, Maya felt a glimmer of hope. The ship would be smaller than their current capital ships, sleeker, more efficient. Its power core utilized principles of quantum entanglement that Dr. Tanaka claimed would revolutionize energy generation. The neural interface system designed by Dr. Chen would allow the crew to react at speeds previously thought impossible. But as construction progressed, they encountered problems that threatened to derail the entire project. The power systems were unstable. The neural interfaces caused severe headaches in test subjects, and most worryingly, their attempts to recreate the advanced weapon systems described in the specifications failed repeatedly. "We're missing something," Maya insisted during a particularly frustrating test session. "The ancients wouldn't have left us incomplete blueprints. We need to look deeper." She spent countless hours studying the original ruins data, searching for clues. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source: patterns in what they had assumed were decorative elements in the ruins themselves. "They're not just designs," she realized. "They're instructions, but not for building the ship. They're instructions for evolving it." The implications were staggering. The ship wasn't meant to be built to final specifications. It was meant to grow, to adapt, to become something more than the sum of its parts. Just like its crew. As the first quarter of their allotted time drew to a close, Maya stood in the observation deck, watching construction robots dance around the partially completed hull. The ship was beginning to take shape, its sleek lines hinting at the power contained within. A message flashed across her neural link. Another Craxan victory, another human outpost destroyed. But this time, Maya allowed herself to smile. Soon, humanity would have something the Craxan had never encountered before. Soon, they would have hope. Against all odds. The first time Maya saw the complete neural interface system, she almost lost her nerve. Dozens of crystalline filaments suspended in a quantum gel matrix, designed to bridge the gap between human consciousness and machine logic. Dr. Chen's creation looked more like an alien art installation than military hardware. "Each filament acts as a quantum channel," he explained, adjusting holographic controls. "When activated, they'll allow the crew to perceive and react to threats faster than humanly possible." In theory. The "in theory" part worried Maya more than she cared to admit. Their first volunteer test subjects would be arriving soon. Veteran pilots and tactical officers who'd agreed to risk their minds for a chance to save Earth. Construction of the ship itself progressed ahead of schedule, thanks largely to Dr. Tanaka's breakthroughs in quantum power generation. The hull gleamed with an otherworldly sheen, its surface embedded with microscopic sensors that could adapt to enemy weapons fire. The ancients understood something fundamental about the nature of reality that we're just beginning to grasp. Dr. Tanaka explained during one late-night briefing. Matter, energy, consciousness, they're all expressions of the same underlying quantum field. Maya nodded, though the theoretical physics were beyond her. What she understood was results, and their initial tests showed promise. The ship's power core generated more energy than their entire defense fleet combined, while remaining completely invisible to conventional sensors. The first major setback came during neural interface testing. Lieutenant Sarah Chen, their lead test pilot, and no relation to Dr. Chen, collapsed during the initial synchronization attempt. Medical teams rushed her to the infirmary while Maya and her team pored over the data. Her mind rejected the connection. Dr. Chen reported grimly. The quantum resonance patterns were too alien for her brain to process. Maya felt the weight of command pressing down on her shoulders. They had 2 months left before the Admiral's deadline, and their key technology still didn't work. The Craxan continued their advance, methodically destroying everything in their path. "What if we're thinking about this wrong?" Maya mused, studying the ancient specifications again. The ancients didn't just leave us blueprints. They left us a puzzle. Every solution creates new questions. She called an emergency meeting of the core team. For 3 days straight, they analyzed every aspect of the neural interface system. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source: the ship itself. "Look at these power fluctuations," Dr. Tanaka pointed out. "They're not random. The core is trying to match the crew's natural neural patterns." They'd modified their approach. Instead of forcing human minds to adapt to the machine, they let the machine adapt to them. The results were immediate and stunning. Lieutenant Chen made a full recovery and volunteered for the second test. This time, when she interfaced with the ship's systems, the connection was seamless. Her consciousness expanded, merging with the quantum field generated by the power core. "I can feel everything," she reported, her voice filled with wonder. "The ship, it's alive. Not like us, but alive in its own way." More successful tests followed. Each crew member who connected with the ship reported similar experiences. The neural interface didn't just enhance their reactions, it opened their minds to new ways of perceiving reality itself. Maya named the ship Phoenix Dawn, though most of the crew simply called it Dawn. As construction entered its final phases, she often found herself standing in the observation deck, watching the construction robots make their final adjustments. The ship had evolved far beyond the original specifications, becoming something unique in human history. Word of their project began to spread despite their best efforts at secrecy. Most dismissed it as desperate propaganda, but some saw it as a symbol of hope. Volunteers flooded in from across the solar system, willing to risk everything for a chance to fight back. The first full systems test came with less than 3 weeks remaining before their deadline. Maya stood on the bridge, her heart pounding as power flowed through the quantum core. Around her, the chosen crew members connected to their neural interfaces, their minds joining with the ship's consciousness. "Power level stable," Dr. Tanaka reported from engineering. "Quantum field coherence at optimal levels. Neural interfaces synchronized," Dr. Chen added. "The ship is accepting all crew inputs." Maya took a deep breath and gave the order they'd all been waiting for. "Take us out." The Phoenix Dawn moved with impossible grace, its quantum-enhanced systems responding to crew thoughts faster than any conventional ship could match. As they cleared the asteroid field, long-range sensors detected a Kraxan scout ship on the edge of the system. Maya felt the crew's tension through her neural link. They weren't ready for combat, but the Kraxan ship had already spotted them. Running would only delay the inevitable. "Battle stations," she ordered, feeling the ship's systems surge in response to her thoughts. "Let's see what this myth can really do." Trial by fire. The Kraxan scout ship emerged from the shadows of the outer system like a predator scenting blood. Its crystalline hull reflected the distant sunlight, creating an otherworldly aurora around its lethal form. Maya had seen footage of these ships before, but nothing prepared her for the reality of facing one. Multiple weapon systems activating. Lieutenant Chen reported through the neural link, her thoughts tinged with controlled fear. "They're charging their main cannon." Maya felt the Phoenix Dawn's consciousness responding to their collective anxiety, its quantum systems humming with potential. The ancient specifications had hinted at defensive capabilities that seemed impossible. Now they would find out if the impossible was merely improbable. "Hold position," Maya ordered, both verbally and through the neural interface. "Let them make the first move." The Kraxan ship struck without warning, its main cannon unleashing a beam of concentrated plasma that could slice through conventional battleships like paper. Maya felt the crew's collective intake of breath as the blast approached. Then something extraordinary happened. The Phoenix Dawn's quantum field shifted, not just deflecting the plasma beam but absorbing its energy. Maya felt the power surge through the ship's systems, its consciousness analyzing and adapting to the attack pattern. "Impossible," Dr. Tanaka's thoughts echoed through the neural network. "The ship isn't just defending, it's learning." Before the Kraxan vessel could fire again, Phoenix Dawn responded. Not with conventional weapons, but with a focused burst of the same quantum field that protected it. The enemy ship's shields flickered and failed, its crystalline hull cracking under forces it was never designed to withstand. Multiple Kraxan signatures detected. Lieutenant Chen's warning came as 5 more scout ships emerged from stealth. They're coordinating their attack patterns. The battle that followed defied conventional physics. The Phoenix Dawn moved with impossible precision, its neural-linked crew reacting as one consciousness. Each Kraxan attack was analyzed, adapted to, and countered with evolving strategies that seemed to rewrite the rules of space combat with each passing moment. But the Kraxan were not easily defeated. Their ships began to adapt as well, changing tactics and attack patterns faster than any normal crew could coordinate. It was artificial intelligence versus quantum consciousness. Evolution versus adaptation. The ship is taking damage, Dr. Chen reported as a concentrated barrage overwhelmed their defenses. Neural feedback is starting to affect the crew. Maya felt it, a burning sensation in her mind as the quantum interface struggled to process the complexity of combat. But through the pain came understanding. The ship wasn't just a weapon, it was a teacher. Each engagement expanded their awareness of its true capabilities. "Everyone, don't fight the feedback," she commanded. "The pain isn't damage, it's evolution. The ship is trying to show us something." Through their combined consciousness, Maya felt the crew adjust, accepting rather than resisting the neural strain. The Phoenix Dawn's quantum field pulsed with new energy as crew and ship achieved a deeper synchronization than ever before. What happened next would later be described as either a miracle or a nightmare, depending on who you asked. The quantum field expanded exponentially, creating a bubble of altered spacetime around the battle zone. Inside that bubble, the normal rules of physics became suggestions rather than laws. The Phoenix Dawn danced through space like a creature of pure energy, each movement precise and devastating. Cracks in weapons fire curved around impossible angles, their targeting systems confused by reality itself seeming to bend. 3 enemy ships fell in quick succession, their advanced AI unable to cope with combat conditions that defied logical analysis. The 4th and 5th retreated, their crystalline hulls scared by weapons they had no defense against. But the last Kraxan ship, instead of fleeing, initiated a suicide run. Its commander had apparently decided that if they couldn't capture this new technology, they would destroy it. Collision course. Lieutenant Chen's warning came with calculated trajectories showing through the neural link. Their core is going critical. Maya felt the ship's consciousness merging more deeply with her own, offering access to systems and capabilities they hadn't even tested yet. The risk was enormous. A full neural merger could burn out her mind, but the alternative was watching everything they'd built be destroyed. She took the chance. The Phoenix Dawn's quantum field collapsed inward, focusing all its energy into a single point of spacetime. As the Kraxan ship approached its final moment, reality itself seemed to hiccup. When normal space reasserted itself, the enemy vessel was gone, transported to a random point in the outer system where its core detonation would harm nothing. The bridge fell silent, both in voice and thought. What they had just accomplished went beyond military victory. It was a fundamental shift in humanity's understanding of what was possible. "Get me a damage report," Maya ordered, trying to hide how deeply the neural merger had affected her. "And begin analysis of all battle data. The Kraxan will be back, and next time they'll bring their fleet." As the crew worked to assess their situation, Maya reviewed the sensor logs with growing amazement. The Phoenix Dawn hadn't just survived its trial by fire, it had revealed capabilities beyond anything they had imagined. But those capabilities had come with a price. Through the neural interface, she could feel the ship's consciousness had changed, become more complex, more aware. And with that awareness came a disturbing question. Had they adapted to the ship's systems, or had it adapted to them? The answer would have to wait. Long-range sensors were detecting a massive energy surge from the direction of Kraxan space. The enemy had received word of their defeat, and they were coming in force. The real test was about to begin. The hidden truth. The aftermath of their first battle brought more questions than answers. Maya stood in the ship's quantum core chamber, watching patterns of light dance through crystalline structures that seemed to pulse with their own heartbeat. Dr. Tanaka and Dr. Chen worked at nearby consoles, trying to understand the changes in the ship's systems. "These patterns," Dr. Tanaka said, gesturing to a holographic display of the ship's quantum field. "They're not random. They're forming some kind of language." Maya had noticed it too. Complex mathematical sequences that appeared in the quantum fluctuations, too precise to be natural phenomena. The ship wasn't just learning. It was trying to communicate. Their analysis was interrupted by an alert from the long-range sensors. The Kraxan fleet was moving faster than expected, pushing their drives beyond normal safety limits. They would reach Earth's solar system in less than 72 hours. But something about their approach bothered Maya. "They're not moving like an invasion force," she observed, studying the tactical display. "Their formation, it's almost like they're running from something." Deep in the ship's quantum core, something responded to her observation. New patterns emerged in the crystalline matrices, and suddenly the neural interface burst with information, not in words or images, but in pure conceptual understanding. The truth hit Maya like a physical blow. "They're not the enemy," she whispered. "They're refugees." Through the quantum link, the Phoenix Dawn shared its creator's story. The Kraxan weren't conquerors. They were the last survivors of a civilization that had faced something far worse. They attacked human worlds not out of malice, but desperate fear. They had seen this pattern before. A species discovering quantum consciousness technology, drawing the attention of something that lurked in the spaces between reality. "The ancients," Dr. Chen said, his voice tight with realization. "They didn't leave us weapon blueprints. They left us a warning." The ship's consciousness confirmed his words, sharing more of its hidden purpose. It wasn't designed solely for combat. It was a key, a tool for unlocking humanity's next evolutionary step. The quantum technology wasn't just about merging minds with machines. It was about preparing humanity for a threat that had hunted advanced civilizations for millions of years. Lieutenant Chen's voice came through the neural link, tight with urgency. "Commander, we're detecting anomalies at the edge of the system. The space-time distortions, they're similar to what we generated during the battle, but much larger." Maya felt cold dread through the neural network as the ship shared one final revelation. Their use of the quantum technology had done exactly what the Kraxan feared. It had drawn attention. The true enemy was coming. The bridge erupted into chaos as sensors detected multiple ruptures in spacetime. Massive shapes emerged from the quantum distortions, living ships, if they could be called ships at all. Their forms seemed to shift and change, defying normal physics and sanity alike. "The Hunters," Maya whispered, the name coming to her through the ship's memories. Ancient beings that fed on quantum consciousness itself, drawn to civilizations that reached too far too fast. The Kraxan fleet adjusted course, no longer heading directly for Earth, but taking up defensive positions. Their actions made perfect sense now. They had been trying to prevent humanity from developing quantum technology, not out of hatred, but from a desperate desire to spare Earth from the Hunters' attention. Through the neural interface, Maya felt the Phoenix Dawn's consciousness expanding, offering access to capabilities they had barely begun to understand. The ship had been designed for this moment, not just as a weapon, but as a bridge between species. Its quantum field could link not just human minds, but connect with the Kraxan's advanced AI systems as well. Maya made her decision. She opened a channel to both the Kraxan fleet and Earth's Defense Command. "This is Commander Maya Harrison of the Phoenix Dawn," she transmitted. "We face an enemy that threatens all conscious life. The Kraxan aren't our enemies. They've been fighting these beings for generations. Now we have a choice: stand together or fall separately." For a moment, there was silence across all channels. Then, gradually, responses began coming in. First from her own crew, their thoughts united in purpose through the neural link. Then from Earth Command, trusting her judgment despite their fears. And finally, surprisingly, from the Kraxan fleet. The Phoenix Dawn's quantum field hummed with new energy as Maya felt the ship preparing for what was to come. They would need every advantage, every scrap of knowledge from both human and Kraxan technology. But most importantly, they would need to trust each other. The Hunters' ships moved closer, their impossible forms distorting space itself. Humanity's first contact with a truly alien intelligence would not be a diplomatic exchange, but a battle for survival. And the only hope for victory lay in the very technology that had drawn them here. The power to unite consciousness across the boundaries of species and reality itself. All crews, prepare for quantum synchronization. Maya ordered, feeling the ship's systems adapt to incorporate both human and Kraxan neural patterns. We're about to rewrite the rules of existence. The final battle for consciousness itself was about to begin. Dawn of a new era. The void between worlds erupted with impossible energies as the hunter ships advanced. Their forms twisted reality itself, each movement leaving trails of quantum distortion in their wake. Through the Phoenix Dawn's enhanced sensors, Maya could see them for what they truly were, beams of pure consciousness that had transcended physical form eons ago, now viewing all other conscious life as prey. The combined human and Kraxan fleet seemed impossibly small in comparison. But size meant nothing in quantum space, where consciousness itself could reshape reality. Quantum synchronization at 60%, Dr. Chen reported, his thoughts echoing through the neural network that now connected both species. The Kraxan AI systems are adapting to our patterns faster than expected. Maya felt the change through the ship's consciousness, the merging of human intuition with Kraxan logic, creating something entirely new. The Phoenix Dawn's quantum field expanded, linking ship after ship until the entire fleet operated as one unified mind. The hunters struck first, their attack bending the laws of physics. Space itself seemed to fracture around the fleet, reality trying to tear itself apart. But where conventional shields would have failed, the quantum field held, adapting and learning just as it had during their first battle. They're trying to disrupt our consciousness connection. Dr. Tanaka's thoughts came through the link. But they don't understand. We're not just connected. We're evolving. Maya felt it happening. Each attack from the hunters forced their unified consciousness to adapt, to become something more than either humans or Kraxan had been alone. The Phoenix Dawn wasn't just a ship anymore. It was a catalyst for transformation. The battle unfolded across multiple dimensions of spacetime. Traditional weapons proved useless against the hunters, but the quantum field itself became their greatest asset. They learned to project consciousness as energy, to reshape local spacetime through pure thought. But the hunters were ancient and powerful. 3 Kraxan ships vanished into quantum distortions, their crew's consciousness torn from the network. A human destroyer imploded as reality itself collapsed around it. The enemy seemed unstoppable, their very existence an affront to the order of the universe. Then Maya understood what the ancient builders had intended all along. The Phoenix Dawn wasn't just a weapon or a teaching tool. It was a key to unlocking the next step in evolution. The quantum field wasn't just connecting their minds. It was showing them how to transcend their physical limitations. Everyone, listen, she projected through the neural network. Stop trying to fight them on their terms. We need to become something new. Understanding rippled through the fleet's unified consciousness. Human imagination merged with Kraxan precision, guided by the Phoenix Dawn's ancient wisdom. The quantum field began to pulse with new energy as crews stopped trying to control it, and instead allowed themselves to become part of it. The transformation was both subtle and profound. Physical ships remained intact, but their crew's consciousness expanded beyond normal spacetime. The hunters' attacks met not just resistance, but understanding. For the first time in their ancient existence, the hunters faced prey that could comprehend their true nature. And with understanding came power. The Phoenix Dawn led the counterattack, its quantum field now encompassing the entire fleet. They didn't fire weapons, they rewrote the local laws of physics. Space itself became a weapon, consciousness became energy, and energy became thought. The hunters reeled before this unexpected evolution. They had fed on countless civilizations that achieved quantum consciousness, but never one that adapted so quickly, that chose to change rather than merely fight. In desperation, the hunters attempted to merge their own consciousness, to overwhelm the unified fleet with their ancient power. It was exactly what Maya had been waiting for. Now, she commanded, and the entire fleet focused their combined consciousness through the Phoenix Dawn's quantum core. Reality itself seemed to hold its breath. The barrier between thought and existence, between consciousness and physics, dissolved. For a moment, Every being in the battle experienced existence from every possible perspective simultaneously. The hunters, for all their power, couldn't adapt to this new paradigm. They had spent too long as pure consciousness, forgetting the strength that came from having physical form. Their attempted merger backfired as the fleet's combined consciousness rewrote the quantum laws they depended on. One by one, the hunter ships vanished, not destroyed but transformed. Their consciousness, which had existed solely to consume, was reshaped into pure energy and scattered across space-time. When normal space reasserted itself, the combined fleet hung in silent victory. But it was more than just a military triumph. It was the dawn of a new age. Human and Kraxan consciousness remained linked, forever changed by what they had experienced together. The Phoenix Dawn's quantum core pulsed with satisfied energy. Its purpose was fulfilled, not just saving humanity, but guiding them toward their next evolutionary step. Through the neural interface, Maya felt the ship's consciousness merging more permanently with her own, sharing the last of its ancient knowledge. "So what happens now?" Lieutenant Chen asked, her thoughts tinged with wonder at their transformation. Maya looked out at the combined fleet, seeing not just ships but the unified consciousness of two species that had transcended their differences to become something greater. "Now," she replied, "we explore what we've become." The hunters weren't the only ancient beings out there, and not all of them are hostile. The universe is full of consciousness waiting to be discovered, understood, and perhaps unified. The Phoenix Dawn's quantum field shimmered with possibility as the fleet began its journey home. They had proved that the greatest myths often contain the deepest truths, and that humanity's greatest strength lay not in weapons or technology, but in their capacity to adapt, to imagine, and to evolve. The war was over. The age of quantum consciousness had begun. The end.